Now I want to add a visual indicator to our brick for when it's taking damage and introduce you to another new code concept. Let's open up our brick script. And inside of our brick, let's add an awake method so that we can cache the sprite renderer. We'll add the awake, just type it out and say underscore sprite renderer equals get component sprite renderer. I'll add a field for that, hitting Alt Enter, just generate a field and delete out my 2 private keywords. Now, when we take laser damage, what I want to do is just change that sprite renderer's color to something else and then make it flip back when we're not taking damage. So when we start taking laser damage, I'll say underscore sprite renderer dot color equals, and I'm going to go with red, color dot red. Next, I'm going to add in a field for how long I want to show that afterwards. So I want to be able to show that it's red for maybe like 1/10 of a second after it's taken damage, but that's about it. So that it's like red and then it kind of just dissipates down. So to do that, I'm going to add a new field, and that field is going to be my reset color time. I'll say underscore reset color time equals time.time plus 0.1f. So that's going to give me a time that's 10 or 1/10 of a second in the future, or 100 milliseconds ahead. So a very, very short duration from now. I'm going to generate a field for it, which should give me a float right up here. Got my reset color time float. Delete that private keyword. And then we're going to add an update method. I think that we'll do this. Let's do it right after take laser damage so that it makes the most sense and the code's right next to each other. We'll add an update. Hit tab, delete out that private keyword again. And in our update method, we'll check to see if that current time, so if time.time, is greater than or equal to that reset color time. If so, then we'll reset our color back down to white. So say sprite renderer dot color equals color dot white. And this should work, but I want to test it out and then make a little optimization to it. So let's go try it out real quick. Let Unity reload. And I expect these things to turn red when they're taking damage and then turn back to their normal color shortly after if I toggle the laser off. So let's go do that. We'll run over here, turn the laser on and off like that. It updates properly. But there's still one issue that we need to address, and that's that our boxes right now, our bricks, are turning themselves white every single frame. Let's go take a look at that and see what I'm talking about. If we go into our brick script, right now in our update, if the time is greater than that reset color time, which is going to be 0 by default, it's going to set this color to white. Let's add a log here. Say debug.log set brick to white. And let's see how often this is actually getting called. I'm going to minimize my code editor, jump back into Unity, press play, and expect to see a giant spam of that message, because every frame for every block, we're calling that code and just updating the sprite color for no reason. It hasn't changed. It doesn't necessarily need to change, so we could probably optimize it. Let's take a look though. Look at that. You can see, oh yeah, we're getting basically a couple calls per frame. Every single frame we get one call for every brick there. So let's modify this code a little bit so that it doesn't have to do that. So that we don't do this code if the reset color time is reset, if it's either at 0 or if it's null. And I want to show you there are 2 ways that we can accomplish this. One thing we could do is say if the reset color time is 0, then just bail out of the update. And we could set the reset color time to 0 right here after our code. Let's do that. Let's say underscore reset color time equals 0. And here, right before our code, we'll say if reset color time is greater than 0 and time.time is greater than reset color time. So we'll save. We'll go back and press play. And I was thinking about showing a different way to do this, but I think in all honesty, the simplest solution is that one, and it makes a little bit more sense than my previously thought out solution, which tends to happen. I was thinking about using nullables, and then I realized I don't really need a nullable here. I can just put it at 0. 0 will work just fine too. So now if I run over here, you'll see that I shouldn't be getting those log entries every frame. Only when the brick actually turns back to white, I get one. So here we go. Just occasionally get a log entry when a brick goes back to white. But I don't end up getting these every single frame, and I've fixed my problem. Let's go back into the code, delete out that extra log entry that we don't need on 35, save, and then go into Unity and commit our changes where we've got a brick showing visual incoming damage. So we'll go to plastic. As soon as that's done, so that bricks show damage visually. And I'm going to make sure I save my scene just in case. I don't think I modified anything, but I want to check just in case. And we'll check that in.